Hello, assalamu alaikum. Today our topic is introduction to sociology, and we are going to discuss about the culture. So here is the content: definition of culture, types of culture, elements of culture, which is also known as the characteristic of culture, how the culture change and culture diversity occur, and what is the difference between all of them, and finally, all three sociological perspective as view on culture. Functionalists, how the functionalists see, how the structuralists see, and how symbolic interaction is seen about the culture. So first, we have different types of culture, and you will define the culture as what. Culture is defined as the shared values, language, belief, norms, behavior, and even the material object that we pass from one generation to the another generation, and these are the our identity. So we can divide into three: material culture, the jewel, the art, the weapon, building, machinery, clothing, all those things, hairstyles, fashion. All these are the material ones. These all are the materialistic value that is used in the society and that is used in the culture. As a non-material culture are those which is related to the ideology. Your non-material, immaterial uh, is a group, is a way of thinking, like belief, values, assumptions, presupposition, custom, traditions. All these are the values. Common pattern of the behavior, language, gesture, other form of social interaction, which is non-material. And there's a subculture. The main culture is divided into the subdivision, the value and related behavior of a group that distinguishes member from the larger culture, a world within a world. A large world, a large group of society, a large group of community are there, and within that we have divided into the subdivision of culture. So there is a main culture and this subdivide division is called the subculture. So these are the component symbols. Symbols used gestures, postures, body language, signs and sign symbols that is used for celebration, rituals, in rituals also. So it includes gesture, language, values, norms, action, folkways, more. All these are the symbols that is used in communication. Language is a very important component characteristic of a culture that can be put together in an infinite number of ways in order to communicate the abstract thought, and we can communicate our words to the language. So each word is a symbol to which culture attach a particular meaning. So language is a medium. Language is a tool to express your culture, your inner values. Values are the standards by which people define the goods and bad. It is called ethical values. Which one is good, which one is bad, which one is beautiful, which one is ugly. So every group develop both values and expectation regarding the right way to reflect them. And values are the top priority. Values are the belief of a group or community. Sanctions are the reactions and the restrictions to the way in which people follow norms. So you have to follow the norm. If you don't follow the norms and values, so there is some sections available to execute over it. Positive section are money, reward, a prize, smile, even a handshake. These are the positive sections. It is an expression of approval that you have to follow the norms, and that norm is very good for us, and it will become our identity. Negative sections are fine, affront, body language, a harsh word, denote disapproval for breaking a norm. So you will not repeat it again, and don't repeat it again. This will is a stopper of that behavior. So if you follow the norm, it was rewarded. The positive section. If someone is restricted to follow that behavior which is against that norm, this one is a negative sanction. So what are the norms? Norms are the expectation. Norms are those standard behavior and the rule which is expected by the society. It is developed by the group of people. They will live together. They found a society and the community. So norms are those which are expectation. Norms are the rules of behavior. Walkways are the norms, is a part of the norms, and that are not strictly enforced, such as passing on the left side of the sidewalk. Not is so much, but is not strictly enforced, such as passing on the left side of the sidewalk. Most are norms, is also the part of the norms that are believed to be essential to core values. You have to be followed, and we insist on conformity. And the person who steal and kill have violated some of the society most important norms. Taboos, you have listened that word taboos. Taboos are norms so strong enough and it break revulsion if it is violated. That, for example, eating human flesh, it's a taboo. This is a taboo, the cannibal. Uh, so this is a strong that it brings revulsion if it is violated. So these taboos are not falling. Ethnocentrism, the use of own culture as a yardstick for judging the way of other individual society and leading to a negative evaluation of our values, norms, and the behavior, and suppose that their culture they have adopting and following is the superior one and the other one is the inferior one. So ethnocentrism is focusing on their own culture as a measure to judge the other cultures. So it is a another topic, the culture diversity and the culture aid, and what is the difference between both of two? Culture diversity is subculture, how the culture is diverged from the main culture, and there is an adaptation of a different environment, and we learn from the environment, and gradually there is a change. So counterculture is also there who are facing with the main culture, and sometimes you will refuse to follow, and sometimes you will accept that norms and behaviors. Ethnocentrism is mainly focused on their own culture and prefer that you are better than the other, and the other one is inferior. Culture change has a formula DID, discovery, discovery of a new idea and discovery of an emerging new thoughts, innovation, innovation of ideas, innovation of ideology. And diffusion is a refusal of the old one. When the new ideas take place, the older ones completely decline. So when the culture change, the old culture will end up, and the new culture will goes and then promoted. So this is a culture diffusion. The one culture does another new culture. So these are the features and characteristic of culture. That is what culture is learned. Culture is learned. You can learn the culture from your peer, from your group, from the member of the society, and from where uh, from the community where you are associated with it. So you learn from the environment, learn from the people, and people also learn the culture of the previous and the next generation, the future generation also learn from the past one. So culture is a learning process, is a learning. Shared culture is shared because everyone is sharing their ideas, sharing values, rituals, practicing ceremonies, judgment. So shared values transmitted. Culture is transmitted from one person to another, from one group to another group, and is cumulative. It's a cumulative of the old one with the new one, and then this a dialectic process start, and the new ideas become a old one, and the new ideas are also embedded.
Oh, che ci capre bene, no!
So these are the types of culture. And now there is a multiple culture in one society. There is a possibility that one society hold a many multilinguistic culture are there, many multiple geographical different peoples are come from the different nations in the cities, immigrant when they come when they go abroad from the another city, they come up with some sort of their religion, their language, their culture, so they can mix up with them. So multiple cultures are embedded in the one society, and one society hold to deal with the is a sort of culture differences and conflicts are there. So society exists with all these culture differences and the conflict. So there are the other sources of culture variation, like these are the most notable races and ethnicity, nationality. Everyone is come from the different nationality for the sake of job and for the betterment future. Ethnic origin, you caste, the culture, religion is one of the key prominent factor that makes you different from the other. Your caste system, your status, your family group, your blood relation, your kinship group. So all these are the notable differences. Ethnocentrism is what? Ethnocentrism, the use of one's own culture as a yardstick, is a major for judging the other, as I told you in the previous one. So, not necessary. Always, you have to be feel that another was another negative evaluation. So, every ethnocentrism is you are completely centered on your own culture, and generally, you will be considered that the pass a judgment and evaluation of other value norms and behavior is in negative one. So culture relativism is what? Culture relativism is means it vary from person to person, from place to place, from culture to culture. It varies. Things are changed. So everything is right. Every culture is suitable. Everyone has their own concepts, boundary, and their values. So culture cannot be fully translated into. You have to be adopt your own culture. Another one has a different form of culture. So someone not completely accepted, someone partially accepted. So we can fully understood that that it's a culture relativism. Everyone has their own rights. Everyone here has their own culture to perform. So there's a specific culture artifact, another rituals. So everyone has different rituals and ceremonial. So in a larger group, in a larger society, everyone pay respect for the rituals. So there is an example of cultural relativism include slang words for the specific languages, and the multiple languages are there in one form. In English, many Italian, Latin, German words are used here. In Urdu, Turkish, Persian, Arabic, the words are mixed blend with each other. So, what is the culture change? So, next, move on to the culture change. What is culture change? Basically, culture change happens with the integration and the close relationship among the various elements of a culture system. And what are the elements? Norms, values, belief system, caste, creed, culture, religion, ethnicity, nationality. When these all are integrated with each other, so we have to be found some change. William Offburn is a psychologist with the concept of culture lag, which means it is a fact that the culture element changes a different way. Change happens, which may disrupt our culture system. He has to be introduced the three phenomena which is very popular for culture change. Number one, invention, the process of creating new culture element. Every time the innovation, the new ideas, ideology, new ideas are emerge in the society. So this one is an invention. Second one is discovery, recognizing and understanding an idea not fully understood before. So penetration of that idea that was invented and created. And the last one, diffusion, kill the old concept and creating the new one. The spread of culture trait from one culture system to another culture. It is a spreading time of a culture value. The first one is what? Invention, process of creating a new culture element gradually. Discovery. This one is the second phase, where everyone recognize and understanding the new idea, and here not fully understood, but he will try to be understand. Diffusion is the kill out the old and replacing with the new one. The spread of culture trait from one culture system to another. So culture change is very common in every society. So it is coded and can be taught from one person to another. So culture change have many causes. The first, the most important element is the environment, the weather, climate, invention and innovation of that person, the type of population that they remain within the society, and how they relate and contact with each other. So here is an example. The end of the last ice age, then is converted into the old age one, helped lead to the invention of agriculture. Some inventions that affected Western culture in 20th century were control pill, television, and the internet. These are the most advancement. 21st century is postmodern era. So every time in agriculture and horticulture, there is an invention of fluff and tools of agriculture, which also help in doing the agriculture activities. So every time when we have an invention of new form of tool and technology, so it put impact in the society uh, as a livelihood, as a lifestyle, as a mode of earning. So in 21st century, the contemporary world, how the culture become a totally virtual. How there is a bombardment of information in the social media and telephone, um, in TV. So there is a contemporary culture maker are the blue screen, are the TV screen, are the 4-inch, 8-inch Netflix screen. So these culture are culture changer. They become a catalyst. Some of this culture icon embody values that shape our way of life. It completely change the pattern of our life. You can also see the Mr. Robot with how they can tell you kind of human we are. You can also see the visual in that drama in that series. The writer want to portray that we are just a puppet. We are just a portal, and someone is operating us. So our life is completely dictated by the some other way. So now the vulture culture is now become a hyper reality, and the society is constructed virtually, digitally. So there is a bombardment of knowledge and information that impact and influence us, and culture is suddenly changed. And you can see that Star Wars and the Harry Potter and the Avengers. So everywhere in the world buy that toy, buy wear that shirt, and very much influenced by the character and by using that name to each other, using the stickers on the car. So it become a popular culture of that with the digital health. So it changed, it varied. So virtual culture is now like that. So now we become completely addicted of all these things, and now our the way of life and their values, belief, education system, all are completely changed due to this. So culture diversity, I told you, is a subculture, is a counterculture, and there is an ethnocentrism. So the diversity, which is deviate from the culture, nowadays our superheroes completely changed. In the olden days, there was a Superman was a popular character, but nowadays Avengers and many multiple teams of heroes are there, and you have a multiplicity of the hero to choose it. And now it become a consumer culture. Just be consumed by, work by, consume, die, work by, consume and die. So this can become a habit. This become a culture of our society to consume the product whether it is useful for us or not, but and the whole society is doing that. Everybody is doing that, so you have to do. So here is a propaganda of bandwagon. So now we have a look of different sociological perspective on culture. The first one is functional, structural functionalists. So they depict culture as a complex strategy for meeting the human basic needs. And they say that culture is universal trait and found in everywhere. The strength of it is showing through the fulfillment for meeting up the social needs. And the weakness of structure functionalism is that they ignore the culture diversity and downplay the importance of a change. They say that when we fulfill the basic needs of each other, so it develops the culture of the society. And what the social conflict perspective say, they say that is rooted in materialism and suggested that many culture traits function to the advantage of some and disadvantages of other. It's clear, is it advantages of capitalism and the producer and the elite class who are the producer of that product. So they make you the consumer and take your advantage. They exploit the labor, they exploit the consumer. So, social conflict analysis see the culture as inequality and promoting the dominance of one group over the other. So, and what this about the social interaction is? Interaction is offer. They say that in sociology, culture is studied as in various interpretation. It depends on the situation, environment where it is. So these are the different ways or perspective of a culture, and also Charles Darwin consider culture as an evolution. Culture is evolution. Different archaeologists and anthropologists, when they has a project to study about the culture, they found different perspective. Here is an example. You will make a difference between the United States and the Canada. They both have a different culture, two different scenarios in there. Canada has two dominant culture like British and the French, and the United States have too much influence of the individualism. So Canada have a strong sense that government look after the interests of the everyone. So the government is very supportive. So there is a different there is a difference of some values in different countries. For example, we take Turkey, 66% power distance people are, or uncertainty avoidance is 64%, and individualism is just 20%. People are too much collective, and masculinity is 34. Okay, fine. When we see the Australia, power distance is 36 and uncertainty level is 51. And individualism is 90%. It's quite opposite of Turkey. So masculinity is 61. Okay, fine. When we see India, you see that power is 77 and uncertainty is 40. Individualism is 48, 50%, and now masculinity is 56. So every society, every culture has different form of values are there. So that's all about the culture. So from the document, we can see that culture is one of the most important concepts. This is in a social in social sciences, the study of the society or social structure. So how we can understand the culture? Culture is a unique position of a man. Every man is born into the society the same as saying that every man is born into a culture. Every man can be regarded as the representative of his culture. So culture is a unique quality of a man which separate him from the lower animal. So to the sociologist, culture is what? Culture is a system of ideas, values, belief, knowledge, norms, custom, technology, it is shared by everyone. So here is a different sociologist has different perspective and definition of culture. Like Edward Taylor say that it is a complex whole which include knowledge, belief, art, law, moral, custom, other capabilities and habit acquired by a man as a member of a society. Robert Besser say that culture is a complex, let's say agree, whole that consists of all the ways we think and do everything we have as a member of a society. So here is some function of culture. Culture defines the situation of the society. Culture is the trajectory of knowledge. Culture provides the pattern of the behavior of the society, okay, what we see, what we dream, what we desire, enjoy. Culture defines the attitude, values, and goal of a member of the society. Culture model personality. This one is very important. Culture develop the persona, develop the, too much influence on the development of personality. No child can develop human qualities in the absence of culture environment. So culture prepare men for group life can provide him the design of living. So culture decide a career, whether we are doctor, engineer, soldier, farmer, professor, which profession or is more notable and give respect by the members of society. So it is some characteristic of culture. Culture is learned. We can learn the culture. Culture is social. Culture is shared by each other. Culture is transmissive. Transmissive means transmit from one generation to another. Culture is in continuous nature. It is cumulative. Culture as a growing whole. Culture is consistent and integrated. Culture is change, dynamic, and adopted by everyone. Culture is gratified, which means provide proper opportunity for the satisfaction of desire. Culture vary from society to another society. Every society's own culture. Culture is super organic. Super organic means Herbert Spencer says that culture is neither organic nor inorganic, but above there too. It is called the super organic. It means social meaning of the physical object as well as the psychological acts are there. For example, the social meaning of a national flag is just a piece of color cloth, but the flag represents a nation. So, and these are the types of culture. Subculture, it is the part of a main culture. Ethnic subculture, it is ethnic culture where the ethnicity and racism are too much, like India, Japan, Taiwan. Occupational, it depends on the field work and the lifestyle they are using. Religious subculture, what kind of religion there are in the society, like Muslim, Jews, Christian. Political subculture, which form of politics are there, lefties, righties,